Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jessica. I'm going to guide you through a very relaxing practice that will help you ease into your evening. So if you've had a hectic, stressful, overwhelming day, or you just need something to help you wind down, this short little practice is going to help you downshift the nervous system and gently get you ready to ease into your night, maybe even go to bed. So no specific prompts. I've got 2 blocks, but if you don't have them, no big deal. Before we get started, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be the first to know when I post new content. And of course, likes, comments are always so greatly appreciated. So with that said, let's find a tall spine. You could easily be sitting on a blanket or a block if that helps you sit up nice and tall. And we'll just take a moment. So maybe close the eyes if that feels right to you. And draw your attention inward. So we stop in order to begin our practice. We make a deliberate shift from the activity and the momentum that often carries us through our days. And we turn our attention inward to a place of stillness. First, just notice the breath. Ever so gradually, begin to lengthen every inhale and exhale. Without strain, without force. Finding a smooth and steady breath in and out through the nose. The lips are gently sealed. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale fully, maybe a little pause at the top of that in-breath. Exhale completely through the nose, maybe a little pause at the bottom of that out-breath. Do that a few more times, in and out through the nose, adding those little pauses at the top and the bottom. On your next inhale, reach your arms overhead, lengthen through the side waist. Exhale, hands slide down into the heart. Flutter your eyes open. If you haven't already, inhale, reach your arms overhead. The palms are currently facing one another. On your exhale, flip the palms to face out and slowly, like you're imagining that you're just pushing the air down against imaginary resistance. You just float those arms down. Turn the palms up. Inhale, reach up again against imaginary resistance. And exhale, flip your palms, press down. Feel how the arms will engage a little bit more, and that forces you to slow the movement down. Let's do one more like that. Inhale. And exhale, flip the palms against imaginary resistance. Press down. Good. Now let's keep the left hand down. Take your right arm up and over for a big side stretch. Now there's a couple of different things you could do here. Some of you might like to come down to the forearm. Some of you might prefer to have your hand on a block here. Some of you might like to walk the hand further away. So you're going to find that sweet spot where you can just lengthen through the right side waist. Keep turning the chest up. We're going to add a little bit of rolling, flossing action here. Inhale, turn your chest up, maybe even look up. And on your exhale, turn the arm and the chest down. So we'll flow through that a few times. Inhale, roll your chest up. And exhale, roll it down. Let's do one more. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, roll it down. This time we're going to walk both hands off past your left knee. So you're taking a little bit of a forward fold at a diagonal over that left knee. And I'm going to come up onto my fingertips on that right hand And get a little bit more length through the right side, out of that lower right back. Full cycle of breath. Breathe into it. Good. On an inhale, let's walk it back up. And I just want you to pause and feel. So that was a bit of work lengthening one side of the torso and lower back. So just feel that. And then if you're sitting in cross-legged, easy pose like you see me doing, let's reverse the cross of the feet. Okay, so opposite foot in front, whatever you didn't already have. And let's do the second side. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. The palms face one another. Now exhale, flip the palms, press down against imaginary resistance. This time your right hand will stay rooted and your left arm will sweep up and over. Palm faces down to the ground. Now with your right hand, decide how far do you want to go out with that hand? Do you want to come down to the forearm? Is it better to have your hand on a block or something that functions as a block? And then as you press the sitting bones down, lengthen through the left side of the rib cage. All right, we're going to add that gentle rolling action. So on an inhale, lift the collarbones, roll the chest up, maybe even look up. And then on your exhale, roll it down. Inhale, turn it up. And exhale, soften down. Let's do one more. Follow your breath. Inhale. And exhale, roll it down. Good. Now keep lengthening out of that lower left back. Walk both hands off past your right knee. So it's a bit of a forward fold, add a diagonal. I'm going to tent my left fingers and press them further away and kind of anchor my right hand down and then lengthen through the sternum. Breathe into the left side of the torso, lower left quadrant of your back. Inhale fully and exhale completely. Good. On an inhale, come on back up, find a tall spine, and then just pause. Again, feel the space you've created in the side waist. Allow yourself to sit up nice and tall, lift the collarbones, inhale fully. Exhale completely. Good. On an inhale, take your arms out to a T, reach it really wide through collarbones, out through fingertips. On your exhale, cross the elbows round and give yourself a little hug, like you're kind of coming into a cat back. Notice which arm is on top. Inhale, open out. Get really broad through collarbones. Now let's put the opposite arm on top as you round and curl in. So we're going to do a few of that, just alternating which arm crosses on top. Inhale, sit up. Lift the collarbones, and exhale, round. Hello, Tucker. Have you come to join us? Inhale, open up, and exhale, we round. Hi, sweetie. Inhale, open up. This time, bring your hands behind you. Either hook the thumbs or interlace the fingers. So the reason why Tucker is sitting in front of me is because it's almost dinner time here, and he is not going to let me forget that. Don't worry, buddy. This isn't a very long practice, so you can eat soon. Roll your shoulder heads back. Draw your hands down. Take one more inhale. Good. Exhale, gently let that go. Take a few shoulder shrugs, and then we're going to come into table posture, hands and knees, okay? So let's set up the wrists underneath the shoulders unless it feels better to take your hands just a little bit forward of the shoulders. Okay, if your wrists are tender, it's probably going to serve you to take the wrists a little bit further ahead. Okay, but you can't do that. Move along. Okay, inhale, lift your chest, lift your tail. This is your cow back. And exhale, press into the mat and round, curl in. We're going to do that a few times. Inhale, lift your chest, soften the belly down. exhale, round, curl in. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale, round. Good. Bring the big toes together, the knees wide. Send the hips back for a child's pose. And reach the arms overhead in your child's pose. Okay. And just take a moment here. Feel the third eye on the mat. And then we're going to add a side bend here. So take both hands over to the left. So you're going to take a step to the left. And how far you go with this is really up to you, but we're going to add on here. So drag your left hand down so that it's closer towards your left knee and your elbow is bent. Tucker, come over here, bud. Press into your left hand and reach the right fingertips away. So you're in a side bend in your child's pose. And as you press the left hand down, you're adding a little bit of a twist. Breathe into the right side of the torso. Let's take 2 more cycles of breath here. Good. Take your time on an inhale. Come on back to a child's pose and just feel the symmetry of both arms reaching, both hips going back. Feel the length of both side waists. Inhale there. Exhale to soften. Good. Now let's try it on the opposite side. I'm going to spin around just so you can see what I'm doing with my hands. Both hands are going to take a big step over to the right for your child's pose. Then you're going to drag your right hand back so that it's closer to your right knee. Press the palm flat, right elbow is bent. Claw your left fingertips forward so you're adding a side bend to your child's pose. Breathe into the left side of your torso. I'm sure many of you have dealt with 2-legged children, 4-legged children bothering you when you practice. This is a reality of a home practice. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then inhale, come on back to center. From that child's pose, slowly roll yourself up so that you're sitting on your heels. Now this is quite a bit of knee flexion, so if this does not work for you, come into a different seat that doesn't bother your knees, okay? If you're okay with sitting on your heels, this is called Thunderbolt or Vajrasana. Bring your hands behind you, tense your fingers. Puff up the chest, almost like you're about to do a camel pose. In fact, sometimes I call this baby camel. Roll your shoulder heads back, lift the collarbones. Maybe take the gaze up. Let's take a couple cycles of breath here. Keep lifting the chest, keep tenting the fingers and pressing them into the mat. One more full cycle of breath. Good. Inhale, hands to heart center. Let's come to stand on the knees. Left foot will take a step forward so you're in a little lunge. You might keep your hands at heart. You might place your hands on your thigh or even your hips. But just take a few pulses. Allow the hips to slide forward and then gently pull them back. Keep pressing the left foot down as you do this. You could have the back toes tucked if that feels more stable to you. Okay, but we'll just do this a few times, allowing the front of the right hip to soften and lifting the chest. Let's take another cycle of breath. Either keep your hands where they are or inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands to the mat. Let's step back to a table. Take a round of cat-cow or maybe a child's, or maybe you sway a little bit from side to side. Just a gentle movement. And then we'll meet back in the child's pose. Hips go back to the heels.
Notice how you can breathe into the back of the body here. Inhale fully. And exhale completely. Draw the knees together. Inhale, roll up to sit. Just a cycle of breath here. Fingertips behind. Lift the collarbones. Puff up the chest. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Good. Inhale to stand. Hands at heart. Exhale, right foot steps forward in a little lunge. You'll make sure the knee is about over the ankle. And again, back toes can be tucked or not. Hands can be wherever you'd like the hands to be, and find a few gentle pulses with the hips. This can be a really subtle movement, okay? We're just finding a little bit of movement through the hip sockets. And again, softening the front of the left hip. A couple cycles of breath here. Tucker, you're being very rude, honey. I will feed you in a few minutes. Let's take another full cycle of breath. Good. And then just pause in your lunge. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, hands to the mat. Table posture. Or if you'd like to take a single downward facing dog, you might like to straighten the knees, lifting the hips, and maybe cycle through the legs a bit. Help you find a little bit of length in the spine. You can take the feet as wide as you'd like in your dog. And then pause, whether you're in the child's or the table or the down dog, and just feel your hands, feel your feet. Inhale fully. And exhale completely. Good. Go ahead and let the knees come down. We're going to transition to our backs. So you can roll on down. And we're going to come into what is called constructive rest. So you take your knees bent, feet wide, let the knees knock together. And this is a lovely way to come to a reclined place and take some pressure off of the lower back. Okay, so we're going to keep the legs where they are. Inhale, reach the arms straight up to your ceiling. Exhale, cross the arms and give yourself a hug. So we're going to hold this for 3 cycles of breath. Breathe into your hands, feel the rib cage expanding and deflating on your exhale. We're oftentimes really aware of how the chest lifts when we inhale, but the rib cage actually expands in all directions. So here you can really feel how it expands out to the sides and in through the back. So just feel that. 1 more cycle of breath. Good. Notice which arm is on top. Inhale, unravel the arms, reach up. And exhale, just take the opposite cross. Okay, and again, about 3 cycles of breath. Breathe into the hands. Feel the expansion of the rib cage in all 4 directions. Feel how you've created some space so that you can breathe more fully. And notice how it feels to breathe deliberately. Notice how soothing that is to the nervous system to slow the breath and create a deliberate full breath in and out through the nose. Inhale, unwind the arms. Exhale, bring them into a cactus so the arms are pretty wide, and then windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Yeah, you can go as slow as you want with this. Just windshield wipering. And then the next time the legs fall off over to the right, pause. You might stay with that, or you might prop your right foot up on your left thigh. Cycle of breath. You could reach the left arm overhead, get a little bit more side length there. That's a possibility. And then keep the legs connected. Inhale, come up. You've got figure 4 legs. Good. You can either keep your left foot on the ground, or maybe you hug that figure 4 in towards your chest. Your hand could grasp the back of your left thigh. About 2 cycles of breath here. Breath is smooth and steady. Breath is full and deliberate. One more inhale. Exhale, set both feet down, feet wide. You can just pause in your constructive rest. And then returning to that gentle windshield wiper from side to side. The next time your legs come off to the left, pause. Left foot can prop up on that right thigh. Right arm could reach overhead, adding a little bit more length on that side of the torso. Another full cycle of breath. On an inhale, keep the legs connected. Come on back to the figure 4. And you can either stay like that or hug that figure 4 in. It's up to you. Couple cycles of breath in any variation with the figure 4. And again, can you continue to work with that smooth and steady breath? Using the breath as a focal point to ground you here, but also helping us to regulate our nervous system. Downshifting the nervous system so that we can come to a state of calm and regulation as we prepare to ease into our evening end of day. Another cycle of breath. Good, letting that go. Perhaps bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees open out wide. If you have blocks, you might like to put those blocks underneath your knees so that you are completely supported here. If your mind is still very active, number one, know that that's totally normal. You might place one hand over your navel and one hand over your chest and simply feel the gentle rise and fall of the rhythm of your breath. If you prefer to let the arms go wide, you might let the arms just flow away from the body like rivers. Close the eyes if that feels right to you. And as you let the body come into stillness here, take a scan of the body and notice where you might be able to do less. Where is there still a grip or perhaps a resistance? And perhaps the thought of letting that go completely seems daunting, and that's okay. But could you imagine perhaps letting go 20%? Or could you loosen that grip maybe half of the way? If you have time to stay here, I highly encourage you to stay in this supported and easeful Shavasana. For at least for a few moments, if you have 5 or 10 minutes, please give yourself that time. I'm going to sign off for now, but I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. I wish you a peaceful day, a peaceful evening, and I hope to practice with you again soon. From my heart to yours, namaste.